Let's bring in Craig Snyder, President and CEO of World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. Craig, great to have you as always. The president is going to Paris to commemorate the end of World War I, but he has already lobbed some choice words at French President Emmanuel Macron, blasting Macron's call for a new European military to protect itself from the United States, China, and Russia. What is it all about?
Well, these two men, these two leaders have very different visions of what the world order ought to be. Macron identifies himself as sort of the last defender of what people call the liberal order created largely by the United States after World War II. And President Trump views himself as a disruptor of that order who wants to conduct American foreign policy on the basis of what he calls America first. So they really do have different visions and values. They've tried to be friendly toward one another. People have joked about a kind of a bromance between them in their past meetings. But I think that that phase is over, and we're into a much more confrontational phase at this point.
You know, Craig, the White House is presenting this trip to Paris by President Trump as a ceremonial one in which they, confirm this meeting with Macron is on between President Trump and Macron, but the president will not attend. Why?
Well, it is primarily a ceremonial thing, and it's a very important ceremony. The 100th anniversary of the end of World War I is something that really thinking people all around the world should pause to note and to think about what the world went through in the first half of the 20th century and how we don't want to repeat it now. I think that was President Macron's original point in convening this larger peace conference, as he's called it. But again, President Trump doesn't like multilateral forums. He likes bilateral relationships, and he doesn't want to be sort of forced into a reaffirmation of American leadership in the post-war World War II mode of that leadership, which he disagrees with. I think he believes that President Macron is sort of trying to force his hand. He doesn't want to be forced.
Craig, very briefly, if you had a chance, 1 minute to talk to the president right before he boarded Air Force One, what would be your advice before going to Paris?
Well, in terms of this trip, I would urge him to think about what it is that led to World War I, which was great power rivalry unchecked by any kind of a multilateral system, and urge him to think about how much better the world has done since World War II because of the rules that America put in place. Sure. I think we have to be very careful about upsetting that apple cart.
All right, Craig Snyder, President and CEO of the World Affairs Council of Philadelphia. Thanks.